Buongiorno, good morning. It's really a great pleasure to be here with you. District Governor Tracy, District Governor Bala, Rotarian friends. As already said yesterday, it was quite surprising to receive the invitation to serve as President Representative in Jennifer Jones' home district. I felt honored and privileged. And yes, it's not my first time as a president representative. I've been many times in Italian districts and to Kenya and to other European countries. But as I said, it's quite unusual to represent the president in his own districts. So instead of using the traditional and official photo to introduce Jennifer Jones, I prefer to select some photos and memories from last week when Jennifer and Nick were in Rome and we had the opportunities to be at the Vatican together. Jennifer had the chance to meet the Pope, and we had meetings with other dignitaries in Rome. And I like one of the sentences that Jennifer used to inspire Rotarians. That is, we all feel the impact that Rotary service and Rotary values have on us. Now it's our opportunity to share that feeling with others. And echoing these words, this is my opportunity to share with you my feeling and the impact that Rotary service had on me. Some years ago, my district promoted a joint project, Rotary UNICEF, to buy medicated bed nets, and together with a Rotary actor from my district and some UNICEF representatives, we went to Guinea-Bissau to deliver the bed nets in the villages. Arrived in Bissau, immediately we moved to the most internal and far villages, where a sort of mother and child day has been organized by the UNICEF staff. Among the mothers, there was a young woman with a nice child who in some ways was trying to get in contact with us. We were there also with a crew, so it was quite an attraction, not only for the children. With the help of Patricia, one of the UNICEF staff, we started to talk. Her name was Sabad. She was 22. She told us that she arrived from her village because she wanted vaccination for Ruben. Her child was, at that time, 5 months old. She received vaccination when she was a child, so she was aware of the importance of vaccination and regular medical visit. She was informed by the local, let's say, leader, the local staff, that this medical support was available for that day, and they were spreading the news in the villages. So this is the reason why she decided to take a long way to come and give Ruben the possibility to receive vaccination. So we started to talk with her, and we asked Sabat, what do you dream for the future of Ruben? And she said, I like to see him as the future president of Guinea-Bissau. So we started to laugh and make projects about the future president and ask her, what would be your advice to President Ruben? She said, to build schools, enough schools for all the Guinean children in every village, and hospitals and roads to make travels easier. She told us that she attended just the primary school, but she understood the importance, and this is the reason why she said, I want absolutely that Ruben will receive the correct and proper education. So we had in front of us the proof of how literacy and education is the key to empower girls and women, and at the same time reduce child mortality. This morning we had some amazing example of how our clubs of these districts work to reach this goal. So imagine a world where every child has access to education. It is so vital to support our Rotary Foundation in order to have more resources, to do more projects, and change more lives. I want personally thank all the donors that are in these districts and recognize their leadership in order to inspire other people to do the same. The Rotary Foundation transforms your gift into service projects that change lives, both close to home and around the world. Our members' professionalities and skills are important to make need assessments and help clubs to identify what they can achieve with their project, locally and internationally. As well, it is important to monitor progress and evaluate impact of our projects. Now we have another great opportunities. We can work jointly with Rotaractors, and Rotaractors themselves can apply for grant from Rotary Foundation too. This is a great innovation and great opportunity. We have 7 areas of focus that provide a large variety of opportunities to do good in the world. And most important, all of them are aligned with the UN Sustainable Goals and the 2030 Agenda. This means that every action that, as Rotarians, we do, make us part of a global movement. And of course, polio eradication remains our first priority. Today, we have just 1 case registered in Pakistan. This made the eradication of polio closer than ever. And we really have the possibility to donate to all the children of the world a polio-free world. This is the reason why we need to keep momentum and continue to raise funds and awareness for polio eradication. Imagine a world without polio. This is my first year at the primary school, and I was 6 years old. It was in 1968, and look at the picture. We were all white, all Italians, all males, all dressed in the same way. Today it will be impossible to imagine something similar. Our communities around the world are more diverse, more multicultural, and our clubs need to reflect this diversity, even though we still have some clubs in some part of the world that could seem very similar to these photos that I've just shown. We need to open our doors to like-minded people that really represent the leadership of our communities, no matter what is their color, their race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. And believe me, in some part of the world, including Europe, where I come from, it's not so easy. Let's say it's quite easy to speak about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, but it's much more difficult to apply at a club level this kind of approach. Diversity is part of our core values, but DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, expands this concept. Not only we need to look for members that represent the diversity of our communities, but most important, as our President Jennifer Jones always says, we need to take care of our members. We are 1.4 million, including Rotaractors, but it's more than 20 years that we are the same numbers. The problem is that 1.4 million Rotarians entered, 1 million members entered, and the same number left. We need to stop the revolving doors. We need to make the club experience more relevant. This is the reason why in 2 different regions of the world, that is Zone 8 that comprises Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands, and in UK, Rotarians are working on 2 pilot programs that allow them to try to do things differently. The last COL, the Council of Legislation, approved these 2 pilot programs to start to imagine what could be our future as an organization. But if in Zone 8 and in UK are allowed to experiment even new club and district models that are not compliant with the Rotary Code of Policies, in all the rest of the world, we are invited to think about what could be changed or could be improved, working on our strength, but identify also our challenges. We need to increase our ability to adapt. We are experiencing a very challenging time. After the pandemic, now we have war in Ukraine, that it's more than 1 year and still continues. And we have climate changes that determine disaster all over the world, increasing the number of displaced people. Probably most of you can remember the impact that during the COVID pandemic had the image of Pope Francis in a totally empty St. Peter's Square, praying for humanity, saying no one is saved alone, as an isolated individual, he said. We at Rotary operated as a community, not as an individual. We need to reinforce our sense of community, not only inside clubs and districts, but with all our local and international communities. This is not an era of changes, but rather we are experiencing the change of an era. This is the dawn of a new era. This means we cannot use the same tools of the past to face new challenges. We need to think differently. If we imagine just to solve our problems, because now we are able to make Zoom call instead of regular meeting, we are losing the opportunity to change really. There are some interesting examples in corporates that focus on the present without imagining something different, and they failed. Ken Olson, founder of Digital Equipment Corporation in 1977, said, "I can't see any reason why someone should be interested to have a computer in his own home." And Dick Rowe, in 1963 at Decca Records, rejected the Beatles because groups with guitar don't have a long way. And most recently, in 2000, the founder of Netflix went to Dallas to submit to Blockbuster, at the moment a real giant, the proposal to combine their business. It was not only refused, but they made joke of him, and we know the end. This is just to say that we cannot see the present with old glasses, and we need to be faster to keep the pace and remain relevant in this society. If we consider ourselves okay just because, as I say, we make some Zoom call or some small improvement, we didn't learn the lesson. This is our time to imagine Rotary. Let's think outside of the box and most of all, think big. I want to share, and it was mentioned during the introduction by District Governor Bala, I thank him for this, a big challenge. It was the event at the Colosseum for Gladiator in Concert. When a Rotarian friend mentioned this format, this concept of concert with live, I mean, it was a movie with live music, with a live orchestra. And especially Gladiator was the cine concert leading title. I immediately imagined to bring this event inside the Roman Colosseum. I proposed this idea to the Italian district governors. The answer was, oh yeah, wonderful, but it's impossible. We are not able to do this kind of event, and we never did, so we cannot do. So, okay, of course I didn't give up. It was hard, but at the end, with tons of difficulties, and we were able to do it. There was a moment I was almost giving up, and I called Jennifer and say, oh, it's not possible. And she said, yes, it is. We can do it. I'll support you. And at the end, we did it. And the rest is history. More than $500,000 raised for polio eradication in one night with Russell Crowe and Connie Nielsen and many other celebrities on the red carpet, and a massive press release all over the world. Because it's not true that press don't speak about Rotary. It depends what we do. Now we are working on something new, probably something even bigger, so cross fingers. There are a lot of difficulties and challenges, but maybe for the next speech I could be able to show something new. But only imagine something different. We can dream big and make dreams real. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. And probably these last words are the more powerful of the entire statement. To achieve these goals, we have a roadmap that is our action plan. It's fundamental, but it's just a map. If we don't have the road paved with our projects, our story, our emotion, we won't be able to imagine Rotary. Thank you.